Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Churchill Downs here on Saturday. It is the 28th of September 2024. I'm going to look at the stakes action on the program from Churchill, but before I get on to that, remember to follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean around the world. Let's look at the feature races. Let's see, races 8 and 10. So let's get into it right now. I love that the card is in a 6 o'clock post time here on the East Coast. I love those late night cards where you have some good quality racing. Same like the Meadowlands years ago, but they don't do that anymore. It's good racing at the Meadowlands, just not the quality like we saw when they had a dirt meeting about 20 years ago. But let's get to the 8th race from Churchill, which is the Ack Ack Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a $400,000 purse, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here of 7 horses going 1,600 meters or a mile on the main track. I'm going to go with the 7-horse Saudi Crown, 7135 for me in the superfecta, 7135 super. Top selection in the single in the multi-race is the 7-horse Saudi Crown. This 4-year-old colt by Always Dreaming, the Derby winner. Brad Cox trains, Florent Giroux gets the mount. They ran the horse in the Cowboy Jones Stakes at Ellis over the mile, 11th of August, and he won by 1 3/4 lengths. On the front end, he broke on top, he quickened up nicely, and he went away with it. That was a very good, strong run. Back here, second off the bench in the Ack Ack, back to a 1-turn mile again, which I think is going to be his preferred trip. I think he could really run a good race here today. They took him to the Godolphin Mile prior to that at Maidan over the mile, 30th of March, and he finished 12th by 12.5 lengths that day. And I just thought you saw a very struggling horse that day. He never was really into it. He just was tired, and he completely hit the wall. As a favorite, he just needed the, I think the quick turnaround for the Saudi race just got to him that day. Prior to that, in the Group 1 Saudi Cup at King Abdulaziz over the mile furlong, he finished third by 3/4 length, and he's with them early on. He yielded late. Senior Biscador caught him. Osaba Tesoro caught him late, but this horse, he held his own out over the longer trip, probably which is not to his liking, but still a very good race. And the Louisiana Stakes at Fairgrounds over the mile 16th of January, everything his own way on the front end, won by 5 3/4 lengths. He basically won in a trot. His hidden abilities that should do wonders here today. He probably ran one of the best races I saw last year in person at Belmont in the Dwyer with Fort Bragg, where he just missed late. They were flying 108 and 4 3/4. He just missed Fort Bragg late, but he ran his heart out that day. Came back to win last year's Pennsylvania Derby. Coming here around a 1-turn mile, that's what he wants to do. Second off the bench, he should be more cranked. Let's choose him. There's a pick 4 that begins with this race. I'm going to single him there. But to recap my selections now, for the 8th from Churchill, it's the Ack Ack. Going to take the 7-horse Saudi Crown, 7135 super. We're going to single 7 in the multi-race. The 10th event now from Churchill, heading over to there. The 10th race, it is the Lukas Classic. It's a grade 2 event going for a purse. $500,000 races for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a group of 8 horses going 1,800 meters or mile 8th here in the Lukas Classic. I'm going to go take as a top selection the number 8 horse, Warrior Johnny, 8625 for me in the superfecta. 8625 super, top selection 8 horse, Warrior Johnny. This 5-year-old gelding by Cairo Prince. Philip Bauer trains. Jose Ortiz gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came in the Charlestown Classic at Charlestown, a mile furlong, the 23rd of August, and he finished 5th by 7.5 lengths that day, and he was with them early on. He yielded late. I don't know if he got around the bull ring well. He's refreshing here to a more standard mile and 8th. He should be more forwardly paced into it. I think he's going to really run a good race here today, as long as he doesn't see like a muddy track like you saw in the Whitney Stakes at Saratoga, mile and 3rd of August. He finished 9th by 26 1/4 lengths. He didn't get the best beginnings. He was bumped out of it, and that cost him. He just slowly got shuffled out of it as the race progressed. And, that was a very weird playing track at Saratoga. I just don't think he handled it that day. His 2 worst races have come on very wet surfaces. And then prior to that opening weekend at Saratoga over the mile furlong on optional 80, he won by 4 lengths from a tracking trip. Not the best beginnings. I had to check a few times, but he settled well after that. Joel had a great turn of foot on him, and he went away with it, 98 by higher. That was a strong run. And then back here at Churchill in June, a mile 16th and optional 100, he finished 3rd by 3/4 length. Again, a bit of a bumpy trip that day, but he was staying the trip well. Coming here, since the beginning of the season, he's really been an improving type since taking him down in class. Back to stakes quality horses last time out, he showed potential. He's training well, getting Jose up. I'll give him a shot on the ticket. I think the 6 horse here, Hit Show for Florent and Brad Cox going also. I was there when he won the Withers in 23 quite nicely by 5 1/4 3/4 lengths. Came back to bet him in the Wood Memorial, where he had a very wide Poisha, but he just missed late behind Lord Miles. He was very wide, but he stayed that trip well. Came back to run a decent 5th in last year's Derby and a decent 4th in the Belmont, but since then, after that, he just kind of went backwards. Came back here in May, where he won his return to the races. Came back to run the Cornhusker after that, where he just did not fire. I think that track played weird for him, and then won a Mountaineer quite easily. Coming back here, training well at Churchill. I'm gonna give him a shot for off of that win at Mountaineer last time out. And the 2-horse Rattle and Roll, he hasn't been seen since this race last year, where he just yielded late, but he had some of the best runs early season or mid-season last year. He won the Ben Alley over the mile 3/16 at Keelan, won the Pimlico Special, won the Blame on this track, and all in about a 5-6 week span. After that, just ran a very good place in the Ellis Park, Stephen Fosh last year, and then his form went backwards with the Jockey Club and the Lukas Classic last year. But he's training well into this race off the year refreshing. He might need the race. They'll probably, after this race, I don't think they'll go to the Classic. They'll probably target something like the what's that race, Defiant at Keelan at the end of the meeting next month. But I think he has the ability to run a good race here today. I'll give him a shot on the ticket, but he might need the race. But to recap my selection for the 10th from Churchill, now it's the Lukas Classic. We're gonna go take the 8-horse Warrior Johnny. Give kudos to the 6-horse Hit Show and the 2-horse Rattle and Roll. 8625 Super 862. In that pick 4. So with that being said, good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.